Nobody knows your business better than you, but sometimes there's going to be angles that might not be obvious, like opportunities or threats that you might overlook. In this video, I'm going to talk about how creating a SWOT analysis can help you better understand your business. SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Simply put, SWOT is a brainstorming process that can help entrepreneurs and business leaders create a solid business strategy meant to maximize company growth while at the same time protecting your company from the downside effects of various problems or threats. Strengths are the positive attributes of your company, things you have control over or your advantages. These are usually related to your employees' skills, your available resources, the strength of your brand, or specific capabilities your business has. Overall, the goal is to discover your strengths and use them to your advantage. Weaknesses are the opposite of your strengths. These are the characteristics or negative attributes that undermine or conflict with your strengths. Using SWOT, you want to identify your gaps, find ways to improve, and also have a basic understanding of the things you, your business, or your product offering need to get better at. Opportunities are usually external factors that your organization has a high probability of landing successfully, such as new technological improvements, new business opportunities, markets, or client options that might help your business grow, or possible partnerships that you might be able to create. Last is threats, which are usually factors you have no control over. Through identifying your threats, you'll be able to develop a contingency plan so you can hopefully be prepared for any possible threats that become real. Now, despite the best planning, it's still likely that you're not going to identify all your possible threats. COVID-19 is a great example, as most businesses likely didn't have a global pandemic on their list of threats. Who should create the SWOT analysis at your startup? The most obvious answer would be the startup leader, but that's not entirely correct. As the leader, you need to spearhead the creation of SWOT. However, you shouldn't be doing it alone. A SWOT analysis is supposed to help you see different perspectives, and that's hard to do if you do it all alone. So what you want are fresh eyes and minds. Since this is a brainstorming process, gather stakeholders, employees, managers, investors. You might even consider external options like a business consultant or another startup leader that's familiar with your business. Another thing to consider is doing customer, client, or vendor surveys. This can help you gain a well-rounded point of view and improve your strategic planning. Their feedback will help you gain a well-rounded point of view through the lens of an outsider who's on the receiving end of your product or service. After all, your customers are your primary concern when it comes to delivering your service or your product, so their feedback's pretty important. Startups don't come with owner's manuals. That's part of why so many fail and why even more struggle when it comes to getting started. Using SWOT, you can at a minimum begin to identify, discuss, and prepare for actions fueled by your strengths, as well as preparing for threats while addressing your weaknesses. A few other reasons why SWOT is important for any organization include: since SWOT helps a business identify its weaknesses, you're by default beginning to mitigate potential risks. If those drawbacks are not improved, they can quickly and easily become threats and cause damage to your organization. Using SWOT, business leaders can find ways to counter each threat through planned improvement of flaws in production, culture, supply chain, or really anything else. Doing this also helps by adding leverage to your strengths. In the end, this is a way for your company to improve its viability and reduce, if not eliminate, its threats. SWOT can also help a business improve performance by coupling strengths with external opportunities. Using SWOT, you'll know what you do well, and then you'll be able to create a future plan and strategy that truly plays to your startup's strengths. One key factor that every company needs to consider is their competition. How are your competitors doing, and how do they have an advantage? A lot of successful companies do a SWOT analysis of their key competitors, then they compare that SWOT analysis to the one they did of their own company. Using all this information, they create actionable strategies about how to position themselves best against their competitors. Let's talk about how to create a SWOT analysis. This doesn't have to be rocket science, people. You can literally start with a whiteboard, draw 4 columns, put strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, or threats at the top, and begin to lay them all out. There's a whole lot of different ways you can go about doing it. I've seen people actually take Post-it notes and write strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats on them and then put them on the wall, put them anywhere. Overall, this is intended to be a simple and straightforward exercise. Here's a couple things you should look for in each category. What does your business do successfully? What assets do you have in your team and which is the strongest? How secure is your customer base? What gives you the edge over your competition? How skilled is your workforce? And what do your customers say about you? What blocks, stalls, or prevents your productivity or progress? In what areas do your competitors have an advantage? What knowledge or training does your team lack? Do you have enough funding or financial runway? Is your business making a profit? And are you falling behind your competitors? How can you turn your strengths or weaknesses into opportunities? What actions should you do that you're not currently doing or haven't tried yet? What are the current industry trends that you can leverage? How is your industry changing and how can you take advantage of those changes? Which businesses could support or partner with you and what can you do to help them in return? What can the company do to grow its customer base or market presence? Who are your current or emerging competitors? If you have suppliers, are they capable of supplying the materials you need at any given period and at the same price? What future technological changes could affect your business? Is your business prepared for unforeseen situations such as a global pandemic, financial instability, or anything else that could be considered disruptive? Now that you've created a SWOT analysis, you need to make sure you create actionable strategies to leverage your strengths, eliminate drawbacks, take advantage of favorable circumstances, and manage the downside of your possible risks. Thanks for taking a few minutes to learn about what a SWOT analysis is. I'd like to invite you to come and listen to the Startup Hustle podcast. We have hundreds of episodes that are all from business leaders, startup founders, investors, influencers, entrepreneurs that have all been through this before. Lots of information, lots of stuff to learn from. And when you're done with that, come check out Startup Hustle TV. That is our new web series about entrepreneurship, where we tell the real story of entrepreneurship through the lens of the entrepreneur. See you next time.
Entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur.